deep in the shadows. I know it's hard to put one foot in front of the other.
Hi guys, welcome to the channel C Chronicles here. If you're new, I post fragrance related content and would very much appreciate you subscribing and joining the family. Now, if you're returning, thank you so much for coming back. Also remember to hit the like and share button, guys, as those buttons help with the algorithm. Today I'm gonna talk about some fragrance samples that I have from the house of Arabiyat. All right, I pulled out about 7 or 8. The first collection I want to talk about is the Hamdan collection. Right, I'm just trying to put them together so I can give you a close-up of it. Let me just do it like this. Okay, this is the first collection I'm going to talk about. It's the Hamdan collection. There's Hero, there's Sheikh, and there is the Brave. So we start with the Sheikh. So we're going to give it a quick spray. I actually have a couple of these. So, okay, the opening of this immediately says I'm a masculine scent to my nose. Has that cologne vibe about it. But guys, in the world of perfumery, I think we have established that there is no male or female scent. You just wear what you want to wear. You're going to get a citrus there at the top, and the citrus is quite sweet. It feels like a mix of that lemon, bergamot, as well as a mandarin, because it's not coming across as super piercing, right? But there is a greenness to this fragrance. It could even have vetiver, I don't know. And now that I smell it more, it kind of feels like it has some patchouli. And this, though it feels woody, is not an intense woody fragrance to my nose. So the woods in here could be soft woods, like how sandalwood interprets in a fragrance, right? So that's what I get from this. And perhaps a tonka, but the tonka as well is adding to a slight sweetness. This profile to me is fresh, it's easy on the nose, it's crowd pleasing. It's one of those that if you were to purchase blindly and gift somebody there, they wouldn't have a problem with it. It's not a heavy scent to the nose. It kind of falls under the same profiles like Dior Sauvage, you know, and I think, you know, Dior Sauvage is popular for being a fragrance that's crowd pleasing with notes that are carefully curated in such a way that a lot of people can tolerate them. So that was the first one, guys. Arabiyat Prestige Hamdan. Okay, I'm going to just show you again a close-up. So this was the first one. On to the second one, I'll just put that one aside, which is the Hero. It's also under the Hamdan collection. I'm going to give you a close-up of it while we sniff what it's doing. All right, this is also masculine toned to my nose, but it's a little bit fresher than the one I showed you. I do get the citruses again in this, but the first one, the Sheikh, was fresh. But this one kind of amps it up a little bit in the freshness. Also, to my nose, just feels like a fragrance targeted for men. There is a little bit of a bitter thing in the mix here, which I usually associate with some cardamom. So this could very well have, you know, that note of cardamom. And I think there's a floral in here, something that's weighing in as aromatic, and I'm not sure whether there is an inclusion of lavender in this or iris in this, but there is certainly something there that weighs in as aromatic. And the woods here are not as soft as the Sheikh, all right, because remember I did say that in the Sheikh it kind of felt like it had soft woods like sandalwood. This is a more piercing woody feel, which is something I sometimes get with cedarwood and, you know, those type of woods that are quite intense, a little bit oaky there. Okay, so it's going to be light on the freshness, but the woody aspect of it is going to be piercing. Another masculine one, and this fragrance kind of has what feels like a fusion of, say for instance, you had layered, or you mixed Isomiyaki with a fragrance like maybe Dior Homme, something like that. Okay, that is what I can say about the scent profile, but definitely on the masculine side with something that feels like a vetiver weight to it. So it's the second one, the Hero. This one is Hamdan the Brave. I'm gonna spray it on a tester paper, and then I like the atomizers, you know, they're quite generous there, and the testers. Oh, I like this. Okay, I absolutely love this. This gives me masculine vibes, but safe enough for me to enjoy. This is certainly something I would wear. Okay, it does assert itself again as a masculine fragrance, but there is something that is a little bit sweet in here. The feel of the citruses is certainly there, and they are quite present, but it quickly gives way to an aromatic thing, you know, a bitter feel. And there's an overall sweetness to this fragrance that I like. It's not too sweet such that a man cannot wear it, but a woman can pull this one off. Also has the woods, but the woods are soft and rounded, like perhaps what the woods were doing in the first one. So it just feels so smooth. I sometimes call this kind of vibe cashmere, where the composition in itself is sitting on something that just feels luxurious. That is what I get from this fragrance. And if I am to give an example of one masculine fragrance that I came across that was wearable to me, not exactly like this, but perhaps maybe vibing like this, I'm gonna say maybe like Jean Paul Gaultier Le Beau. Okay, this is not like Le Beau. The Brave is not like Le Beau, but I am saying it kind of is a fragrance that both genders can pull. It's gonna have a tease of that masculine thingy, but you could certainly pull this one off. So if it's an inspiration, maybe it's gonna be something that draws inspiration off of something like Jean Paul Gaultier Le Beau, that YSL, I don't know why it's gone L'Homme something. And then the last one I can give you as an example is Dior Homme. So anyway, when it comes to the three, which was the Brave, the Sheikh, and the Hero, I can't find the Sheikh anymore. These are certainly fragrances I'm gonna say are summer toned to my nose, right? These are fragrances overally, I would say, are crowd pleasing. However, they do assert themselves as fragrances that would be easy to class as masculine as opposed to feminine. Now, when it comes to fragrances that are kind of fresh toned, clean, green, sometimes even aromatic, those are fragrances I would recommend outright for summer, but of course you wear what you want to wear any season. So we moved, guys, because I'm only left with 4. Okay, Lichee Musk. I remember bringing you a review of Blueberry Musk and Cranberry Musk, and I was saying I just wish I could get my hands on Lichee Musk. And little did I know, guys, that these little gifts that I had received actually had Lichee Musk. So let us spray this one and see, okay, if it reminds us of something. But I'm obviously going to expect to smell a lot of lychee in here. That's exactly what I get. This is a very lychee forward style of a scent. The lychee in here is very happy. It's kind of realistic. It's like, say you were eating lychee flavored jelly babies. You have to love fruity scents, you know, for you to love this one. It does feel like it does have other fruits, but those fruits are obviously going to be on the maybe aquatic side, you know, something that I get maybe from raspberry, but not making that the star of the show. I'm not saying this is jammy, but I'm saying to say it's only the lychee that's here, I don't think so. I think there's more happening in here. And of course that apple. And then it transitions into what feels like a rose, okay? It does feel like it's bringing to the surface a flower. But that flower, which could be the rose, is interpreting as fruity, okay? So when it comes to the rose can be minty, it can be super green, it can be floral, it can be fruity. It just depends on how the mix of the rose is made. So I do detect something here that feels like a rose, a sweetened rose mixing with that lychee. And this sweetness here now is starting to feel as though this fragrance has caramel, because as I said, I almost said it's sweeter than what I get from the lychee, and I think I'm right, because now that everything is sitting together to become one, I am getting a very sweet style of a fragrance. Okay, now in terms of scent profile, I am not gonna say this is in the same fragrance family as Eden Lychee, all right? But of course, if you know that fragrance, you are going to know that it's very lychee forward. So it's easy to then say, if you love that, you're probably gonna love this, okay? This is just to give you a mental shortcut. I think this, especially the Blueberry Musk, the Cranberry Musk, and this one, I think these are just their creations, guys. But coincidentally, you're gonna find some fragrances on the market that are gonna smell like them. Why? Because a lot of mainstream fragrances use notes like fruits, or tend to give us fruity fragrances, fruity florals, because those are the ones that are easy on the nose and crowd pleasing. So this could very well not be a clone, but if you love lychee fragrances, for example, that Eden Lychee, then you're gonna love this. Okay. In terms of weather, this is gonna be summer forward. This is also gonna be upbeat. A lot of young people are gonna love this outright. It's now turning a little bit fresh. So with the sweetness, it's coming something that's a little bit fresh there, you know, a little bit green, a little bit fresh. a little bit musky as well. Unfortunately, profiles like this to me do not last that long, so I'm not even gonna put how long I think it's gonna last. Then we have AARIZ. Okay, AARIZ is this line. Okay, I did bring you this line. In this line we have AARIZ, we have the Intense, we have the Luxury. AARIZ, the original one, is this one, right? This is the original AARIZ. This gives me fresh, it gives me green, it gives me aromatic. This scent profile I've come across a lot of times. Okay, this is kind of the same vein as that Bovary Tiger or Sospiro. You know, Sospiro became Zergio, Vibretto, that kind of scent profile. That is what I get from this. Now, I think I have remembered why I actually don't have this fragrance, because I was gifted a lot of fragrances from the house of Arabiyat, and this could be one that I actually did not take, simply because it's the same profile I've come across in many fragrances. Beautiful scent profile, I'm not gonna lie about that. The Sospiro, the Bovary Tiger scent profile is gorgeous. That grapefruit working of course with other citruses, and then it mixes with the ginger, and that is where the magic happens, guys, where a ginger weighs in. Okay, so it becomes a citrusy aromatic fragrance with that heliotrope and something that weighs in there as powder. Yes, it does have the patchouli, but the patchouli in here is not a dirty patchouli. It's a patchouli that's quite nice. Also kind of feels woody as well. That cedar wood especially is what I get from here, but it's not like too woody or borderline smoky. It's not like that. It does have the cedar, but the cedar is in check, and a little bit of vanilla, not the same vanilla as I got in the other Hamdan one that I was saying, oh, this is sweet. No, this is not as sweet as that. It maintains a greenness, an aromaticness, a freshness, okay, in a spicy ginger. It is called AARIZ. Okay, and those are my thoughts about that. And the same scent profile, which is that AARIZ profile, is one that you can wear all year round. Okay, so we're left with just two. I have Lutfah First Love. This is the one I'm most interested in sniffing, because I think this one, I saw somewhere someone likening it to Gisa, which is that pink one. A fairly new release, okay, and it's a fruity, fun scent. Now, do I get that from this? Okay, right. Yeah, the Gisa has come to mind. It was the Gisa one and only, right? The one that comes with a pink bottle. Okay, this is certainly floral, but it's also fruity, okay? But at the moment, I'm tempted to call this one a floral than a fruity scent. Okay, I don't know what I was expecting. Perhaps I was expecting a juicy, a juicy passion fruit and peach and what. I am not getting a fragrance that's pulling too fruity, but I'm getting a tease of a fruitiness that is kind of working in tandem with the floral. This one is certainly on the feminine side. This is also certainly a fragrance that's going to be easy to gift, but not a young person. It's not striking me as a fun scent. There's a little bit of some seriousness in this scent, and I think it's those fruits, and now I think I do smell the fruits coming to the surface. So there must be a flower that did a little too much there in the beginning. That flower is the one that's tempting me to say this is more floral, than it is fruity. But there is certainly a sweetness to this fragrance. So I'd like to think that it has caramel. So the scent profile in itself is floral. It's mature, but not vintny. It's concentrated. It does, just from the blotter there, feel like a heavyweight fragrance. I cannot speak of the lasting power, but this is just interpreting as a little bit strong. It's called First Love. It's in a pink bottle. So this is probably going to have a lot of girls who love the pink buying it just for the bottle. But it is a fragrance with some weight, okay? And as I said, it has been compared to that Gisa one and only, and it's not a fragrance that I've smelled before. But what I know about the Gisa fragrances is they're on the upside there when it comes to pricing. So this could very well be a fragrance you want to purchase, say if you wanted to try how that one would vibe, you know, and then you'd see whether you like, because this one is probably going to be on the affordable side. So yeah, that's Lutfah, First Love, guys. A lot is going on here. Some musk, some patchouli, I guess, but it doesn't have like an overly done type of DNA. The DNA in itself is crowd pleasing, but it's not the sort that, you know, when you spray, you're like, oh, I've smelled this one 55 times. That's not what I'm getting from this. Okay, now the last one, guys, is going to be Lutfah, and this is light in the heart. Sorry guys, the font is a very small in this, but we're gonna try our best. I think there's 3 Lutfahs, but from my lot I found 2. Let me just give it a quick spray. Light in the heart. Oh, this is immediately familiar to my nose. I am getting that PDMLT vibe, okay, which is a vibe I have smelled a lot in other renditions, okay, and I guess this one is Arabiyat's rendition of that. This is sweet, okay, and that Altea in itself is a sweet fragrance. It's also spicy, something that I get here, but the actual Altea fragrance does pull a little bit green in a way, especially the beginning of it. The start of it is quite green there, and it then settles a little later. In this, I'm not getting that, so I guess perhaps that's where the twist is. This has the sweetness, you know, which I like. It does accommodate, you know, those spices, the cinnamon, but the cinnamon is weighing in to add to that sweetness. Obviously it does have vanilla, and it's obviously going to assert itself as a gourmand with maybe a little bit, just a little bit of some cardamom there. But I like what this one is doing. And speaking of which, I think I'm going to wear this. Let me just spray it on my arm so that I don't forget. I'm going to wear this and see whether the lasting power is great, because I love that Altea scent profile, and that is exactly what I'm getting here. A sweet 70% masculine fragrance, but with a gourmand kick to it, such that women are gonna like it, and that is exactly what I'm getting from here. And it's lacking in the greenness that I don't actually like from the actual Altea fragrance, so I'm gonna give them a plus for that. So yeah, it does seem as though light in the heart Lutfah is in the same fragrance family as that Altea. This gives me fall vibes. This gives me winter vibes. But if you're accustomed to a lot of fragrances, you can wear this one any time of the year. This one's gonna pull 70% masculine, but even in its original formulation, a lot of people have said it's quite unisex. So I'm just gonna put it at unisex, but if you're not sure, then you may wanna test this, because it is in the original formulation marketed for men, and because this is like a smell alike, it's probably gonna, you know, be along those lines. But I totally can wear this. I like it. That's why I actually sprayed it. I do get vanilla cookie vibes in this, but not gourmand, you know, like in your face sticky foodie. That's not what this one is. It you know, does. And a little bit of a citrus kick. So yeah, it's gonna be my favorite from the lot. Okay, Lutfah, light in the heart, and then followed by the Lichee. The Lichee one is a winner for me. I absolutely love that one. And then Lutfah, First Love. And I know there is a bias because these are feminine fragrances that I have chosen as loves, but I have to be true to, you know, to you guys. I love feminine fragrances, especially the outright feminine fragrance. CeeChronicles is my name. Thank you so much, guys, for joining me today. Let's meet in the comment section where we discuss more about fragrances. Let me know your thoughts on these new fragrances from the house of Arabiyat and which ones you intend to add to your collection. Remember to turn on post notifications, guys. That way you get to be notified anytime I upload a video. Like and share this one, and remember, guys, that smelling good is a form of good manners. Cheers.